Next Time You See a Seashell by Emily Morgan. Next time you see a seashell, pick it up and hold it in your hand. Run your fingers over it. Does it feel smooth or rough? How would you describe its shape? What colors or patterns do you see? Is it dull or shiny? Smell it. Does it have a scent? What words would you use to describe the shell? Seashells are some of the most beautiful objects found in nature. Have you ever wondered where they come from? Mollusks. They are the shell makers. Mollusks are animals with soft bodies such as snails, oysters, and clams. Shell-making mollusks hatch from eggs. Some mollusks lay their eggs in cases to protect them. Sometimes you can find these egg cases washed up on the beach. If you look inside a mollusk egg case, you might see hundreds of teeny tiny shells. That's because these mollusks begin growing their shells very early in life. As a mollusk grows, its shell grows too. These fascinating animals continue to make their shells out of minerals they get from the water around them. Different kinds of mollusks have different kinds of shells. Most shells can be sorted into two main groups: bivalves and gastropods. If you find a shell that looks like half of it is missing, it's probably a bivalve. Bivalve shells have two parts connected by a hinge. When the mollusk dies, the two pieces usually come apart. Sometimes you can find the two pieces still attached, but be careful because they break apart easily. The other main type of seashell is a gastropod. Unlike a bivalve shell, a gastropod shell is made of only one piece and often has a spiral on the end. Look in the opening of a gastropod shell. That's where the mollusk was attached. Mollusks' shells help them survive. When a bivalve is startled, it quickly snaps its two-part shell closed, sometimes pushing out a stream of water to propel it away from danger. When a gastropod is disturbed, it retreats inside its shell for protection. Some mollusks have colors or patterns on their shells that help them blend in with their surroundings. Sometimes the shape of a shell can help the mollusk bury itself in the sand to hide from predators. You can learn about the life of a mollusk by looking at its shell. Cracks and chips might be clues about a battle with a predator. Small holes may have been made by an animal drilling into the shell to eat the mollusk. The colors of a shell can be the result of what the mollusk ate or the substances in the water where it lived. Some shells even have evidence that another animal lived on the shell. Beaches are not the only places where you can find shells. They can be found anywhere shell-making mollusks live: streams, lakes, or even forests. Not all mollusks make shells. Slugs, squid, and octopuses are mollusks, but they do not make shells. Some people think of a shell as a mollusk's home, but it is actually part of the animal's body. If you find a seashell that still has a live mollusk attached, leave it where you found it. Don't try to separate the mollusk from its shell. It will not survive. You may have seen a hermit crab inside a seashell. Hermit crabs are not mollusks. They do not make shells. Hermit crabs use empty mollusk shells to protect their soft bodies, finding bigger shells as their bodies grow larger. So the next time you see a seashell, remember that beautiful shell was made by a mollusk. It began as a tiny shell that hatched from an egg and grew with that mollusk to be the shell you now hold in your hand. Isn't that remarkable?